Ukraine.
Let me ask one separate question on the border then, to follow up on what she was asking about. There's reporting that El Paso has cleared the downtown of these expansive migrant camps that have grown there in advance of the president's arrival. Is the president going to see a sanitized version of El Paso when he arrives at the border on Sunday?
The president's very much looking forward to seeing for himself firsthand what the border security situation looks like, particularly in El Paso. He's very much also looking forward to getting a chance to talk to Customs and Border Patrol agents on the ground who are actually involved in this mission to get their firsthand perspectives of it.
I spent a long time covering immigration stuff during the Trump years. I never saw more damning quotes from immigration advocacy groups and human rights groups during the Trump years as I saw yesterday towards this administration. Just reading one to you, Eleanor Acer, who's one of the leading advocacy people, heads up a refugee group, called what the president did yesterday a humanitarian disgrace. And that was echoed across the board in literally scores of emails I got from every humanitarian group. What does the administration say to the overwhelming consensus from people who advocate on behalf of asylum seekers and refugees and migrants that what the president did yesterday was a humanitarian disgrace? Well,
obviously we take a different view. What we would say is that this is a president who understands that
John, with the new parole program that you guys announced yesterday, is there any risk that because now those who don't qualify for the program, they won't have any incentive to turn themselves in, as a lot of people have been doing when they illegally cross the border, and that could increase the number of gotaways?
First, I would definitely refer you to DHS for more detail on this. We feel there's great promise here. The idea, Jackie, and I couldn't speculate about your question, but the idea is to increase the legal pathways available to people and put in place a nice, safe, orderly process that is humane and gives them the hope that they're looking for. At the same time, being able to crack down on enforcement.
But as the pilot program with Venezuela was happening and did reduce the number of crossings by 90% over those first few weeks that it was in place, the number of gotaways did skyrocket too at the same time. And so my question is, does the fact that if you cross illegally, it makes you ineligible for this program, does that now disincentivize people to turn themselves in and then make part of this problem harder?
It's difficult for me to get in the mind of every individual that may have already crossed over illegally. What they ought to know is that we are going to be making sure that we're increasing our ability to enforce these policies.
Michael's question about the pushback that the president's immigration plan is receiving, I guess to put a finer point on it, one of the central criticisms is that the administration is expanding Title 42 while also claiming to be preparing for it to end. So when it comes to Title 42, are you trying to have it both ways?
No. I mean, right now, Title 40, first of all, we do need to keep it in perspective. The numbers and the scale of the migration challenge is really not something we've seen anytime in the last 100 years or so.
And just one more on this. Mexico has now agreed to take 30,000 migrants from these 4 countries who attempt to cross the border illegally. Right. Did the U.S. provide, or are we providing any assistance, any aid to Mexico to deal with that influx?
I'm not aware of any specific infrastructure improvements or that kind of thing, but I'll tell you what, I'll take the question and ask because I just don't know. I'd also refer you to DHS on that. He dramatically increased the number of refugees that we're willing to take in from nations in the hemisphere. He also improved the process by which people seeking asylum can do that. I'll say this. On his first day in office, he put before Congress an immigration reform bill that has yet to be acted on. We are dealing with immigration laws and processes that are decades old, Michael, decades old. So the answer to the critics is, first of all, we obviously take a different view in terms of the president's priorities. And if you take a look at the package, you'll see that it is very humane in its structure. But we've got to have the help from members of Congress. And this is not something that he hasn't focused on. In fact, he has been focused on it since the very first day.
The program obviously was designed to address nationalists from Haiti, Cuba, Venezuela arriving at the southwest border, but as you know, a lot of Cubans and Haitians in particular are crossing the
Strait of Florida.
Strait by sea. Very dangerous journey.
Incredible.
How does this plan at all address those individuals? What should the individuals considering that path take from yesterday?
Secretary Mayorkas talked about this too yesterday, and obviously our message to them is don't take that journey, those legal pathways, which we are now, again, improving.
Well, those individuals, they're not going to be removed to Mexico, for example, so are they more likely to get an interview based on a credible fear claim if they make that journey? That's the question that a lot of these individuals are asking.
Again, I'd refer you to DHS for more detail on this. I'm not an expert on that particular process.